Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa Marino. I am a management analyst here with Chula Vista Fire, and I will be going over your Mars refresher training today. To start off, I wanted to show you a comparison of last fire season to the current fire season that we are technically still in through the end of June. Again, this is for Chula Vista Fire Department specifically. The total number of deployments that we sent out for our last fire season came out to 34 deployments. The current fire season that we are in now, which technically could still rise through the end of June, our current number is at 89. A huge and significant difference in the last two seasons. This past season was extremely hectic, especially with LA fires. Another significant difference is due to our fuels crew. Our hand crew went out for the first time this past season, which gave us a couple more deployments that we were able to send out. And just to show you the difference in the reimbursement side of it as well. So of those 34 deployments that we sent out last fire season, we received around $1.2 million in reimbursements. Currently, for the 89 that we have sent out in this fire season that we are still technically in through June, we've only received about 70% of the reimbursements, but even then our current number is around $11.6 million in reimbursements. Again, significant difference. This is why we ask that your F42 entries and your Mars entries and the time that we get those expense claims in is in an efficient and timely manner so that we can get the money back that is truly deserved from the time that you guys spent out on deployment. Desired practices that we are trying to ensure happens for every deployment, and just moving forward, just a couple points that we wanted to touch on. Telestaff entries and Mars entries. So those start and end dates on both of those should be identical, if not fairly identical. The only exceptions, if they were not identical, would be for having extra time to gear up beforehand if you were off duty and whatnot. Obviously, that would be on the telestaff side, that you would have an earlier time than the start of your F42. Or the end dates of your F42 and your telestaff don't match. We do consider the holdover time it takes to get the apparatus and the equipment back to response ready status. That could be the difference of them not being identical, but otherwise majority of them should be matched. Just make sure that when you get back, your personal telestaffs do reflect that, and if not, ask your staffing BC to make the changes for you. Toll roads is another one that we are emphasizing. This is not just a strike team issue. We deal with this on a day-to-day basis, so our ambulances and our engines are not exempt on the toll road. Example for us would be the 125. We emphasize do not use toll roads unless you absolutely have to. This is an ongoing issue that we have with our department as a whole. On a day-to-day basis, our ambulances and our engines are not exempt from these tolls. Just like everybody else, we're getting these fees, and by the time we open them in the mail, it is way past the deadline, so we get fined double or triple what it was prior. We do know that if you are in a strike team formation and your strike team leader does take a toll if it's up north somewhere, we are not telling you to deviate from the formation. However, if you must take a toll road, please take note of the day, the time, and the toll that you are taking, and go online and pay by plate. For our agency specifically, there should be a captain on that crew that has a city P card. We are emphasizing to use the P card, pay the $2.50 right away online, or if you have time to stop and pay for it as you're going on or getting off, by all means. Otherwise, please don't wait for the bill in the mail. Again, by the time someone in admin opens that envelope, it's already $75 or more because it went past the due date. So we would much rather pay a $2.50 fee versus $75 or more. So again, though, if you do have an alternate route, please use it other than just opting for the toll road itself. The next one is for returning and documenting all expenses. And I know I might get some eye rolls from this one from my captains, but please stick with me as I describe what this is going to do, not only for us for Strike Team, but for your P card statements as well. We're going to be utilizing a new SharePoint for our Strike Teams. This QR code will show you what the form currently looks like, although it is technically still a work in progress. I am working on it with Captain Neil, getting it ready for our next fire season coming up. So let me show you that on this next slide here. So other than that QR code, if you're out and about, Chula Vista specifically, we do have it posted on the Fire Bulletin page. So under Finance, you'll see Deployment Expense Receipt. It may change to just Expense Receipt, but regardless, it is still there right now as well for you to look at. It's not meant to trick you or give you more work than you already have. This is simply a way to keep a live track of all of your expenses that you have in live time. So the very first question is purchase made on. So ultimately there's just going to be an A and B. Did you make this purchase on your City P card, or did you make this purchase on your personal card? And that's very important for my side of things, because we do have overhead who go out who are not captains. They do not have City P cards, and they do have to use their personal cards to cover all the expenses. So in that instance, we do a separate reimbursement form specifically with the city. So that will help me differentiate what is going to go where. And then every other question is just straightforward. It'll ask for a unit deployed, your order number, your request number. All of that information should be on your resource order. If not, it should already be on your F42 that you have created at this point. You'll list the reason for the purchase, the total amount, and the biggest thing of this form is you're gonna take a photo of the receipt and upload it onto this form. If it is something that required a 213 or any other supporting documents, you'll also have a chance to upload that there as well. And then you'll hit submit, and what happens is I will get notified that a new expense has been submitted. This will help assist me keep track of all the expenses while you're still out on deployment. We are going to require that you still come and meet with me and turn in all the hard copies once you have came back from that deployment. However, rather than me waiting until the very end and then gathering that information and taking some time to enter it into Mars, this form will hopefully, what we're imagining is help me start creating those expense claims as you're out, and then that way when you do come back, it'll be a lot quicker to submit to OES for processing. The hope in this as well for my captains in Chula is the P card statements. So currently right now there is a spreadsheet that you have to write along with all of your documentation for each purchase that shows what you purchased for that month. With this form, two birds with one stone for my captains and their P card statements. At the very end of the month, or when you are done or returning from your deployment, Captain Neil and I are working on a PDF or a spreadsheet that will get emailed to you directly, and it'll have all of your receipts that you submitted in this particular form. This will be your documentation for your P card statement on Munis. We are also hoping that the uploads that you take with your phone in the current time to submit to me will also be provided to you, so you don't have to scan your documents again to then upload for your P card statement. So we're hoping to aim for a hyperlink from the uploads that you have taken on that spreadsheet that we're going to provide to you, and that way you can click the hyperlink and it'll attach your scan essentially to your Munis statement there. So again, this is going to be a fairly brand new SharePoint form that we're utilizing for our Strike Team season coming up. Your participation in it is vital for me in order to figure out what works, what doesn't work. I get notified every single time our department sends out anyone on deployment, so I will get in touch with every captain that goes out, or if it's overhead, that particular person, just to ensure that the form is going to be utilized. And if there's any questions, we can just reach out to each other, whether that's my question to you or if you have any questions about the form while you're out on deployment. For our Mars entries, we just wanted to reiterate a couple things that we saw with some issues in this past season, specifically for our redispatch deployments. So if you are redispatched, there's going to be two sections that need to be filled out. It'll either be section 6, which says dispatched from, or section 7, which is redispatched information, meaning did you come from somewhere, are you going somewhere, or both. So an issue that we did see this past season are with our OES prepositions. We had crews who were assigned to an OES preposition, and for this example, we'll say that they were assigned to the Palisades right after. We had personnel telling our crews that the two incidents did not connect with one another and they were separate. This is incorrect information. If you are on a preposition and you do get assigned to an incident or a fire, you will need to fill in section 6 on your you will fill in section 7 on your OES preposition, F42, and your F42 for the incident that you're on, in this example, the Palisades, you will have section 6 filled out with the OES preposition information that you came from. The only instance in where both sections would be filled out is if you were redispatched to a third fire. We'll say the Eaton fire for this example. So for your OES F42, you'll have section 7 filled out of you going to the Palisades. On your Palisades F42, you will have section 6 filled out saying you came from the OES preposition, and section 7 filled out saying that you're going to the Eaton fire. And your third F42 for the Eaton fire will only have section 6 filled out saying that you came from the Palisades. Ultimately, this is just to help streamline your time out on deployment, and it'll link all your 42s when they're all sent into Mars for processing with OES. So just make sure that all the end dates and the start dates match up as you go from incident to incident. It is going to be your responsibility to get these sections filled out. You could easily say next and not fill it out, and it will not hold you back saying it's a required field. OES doesn't have it in Mars system to automatically know that you're being redispatched, so it will be your responsibility to fill in these sections if that is the case for your deployment. Accurate titles for Mars is a huge one that we want to emphasize on. When I have strike teams out, I should only be seeing 3 titles being used. My captains are going to be co-officer / captain / lieutenant. My engineers are going to be app officer / engineer. And my firefighter medics and my firefighter EMTs are going to share the same title as firefighter / FFP medic. Those titles are extremely important because we have what we call a salary survey with OES. And what that really means is that we take every rank that we have as a department and put it on an Excel spreadsheet, shall we say, and we tell OES what we want or require for our hourly rates for each rank that we have. The base rates that OES has are extremely low, so we do submit the salary surveys to have it on file, and that way when you guys go out on deployment and you put that specific title, we are ensuring that we're getting the correct hourly rate that we have requested for each deployment. So if you do put the incorrect title, we could be reimbursed incorrectly, whether that's more or less. So we want to ensure that we're using those. It is a free fill-in on the Mars entry. So if you type in captain, you might see Fire Captain C pop up and just automatically think that that's it. That would be incorrect. The only time that we should see a C designation are for my 40-hour personnel who are on a special assignment. So these are the 3 titles that I want to see on every single strike team that we send out. I copy and pasted this slide just to reemphasize the 213 situations that we have. So if you ever have an expense that you have to pay out of pocket for, whether that be breakfast was not provided by the incident, they didn't have any lodging, so you had to go to a hotel, please ensure that you get a filled out 213 along with the S number. The S number will also have a place on your F42. I believe it's in a section right after you're asked if there's loss or damage. Again, it is not a required field, so you could easily skip it on your F42. But if you do have an S number, please put it on your F42, and do not forget to provide or even get approval on a 213 for the expense that you're incurring. This is the bottom portion of the 213, so we're looking at the line item of 8. So you'll see name, signature, and title. There are only 3 personnel at a fire who are authorized to give you approval for such expenses. It's going to be your finance section chief, the incident business advisor, or the incident commander. It is rare for an IBA to be on scene, so you're more than likely going to get it from the IC or the FSC. These are the only people, again, who are authorized appointing authorities for reimbursement. If for any reason you have someone who is not one of those 3 titles writing a 213 for you and saying that they're authorizing reimbursement for this expense, please ask that they write on the 213 that they are acting on behalf of one of the 3 titles listed above on this slide. This will just give us a little bit of leeway if OES kicks our expense back and says that we didn't get the correct approval authority for it. We'll just point them to the 213 and say that the person who did write this for us wrote that they were acting on behalf of someone who does have the authority. We also want to make sure that when you do get a 213 signed, sometimes we get some chicken scratch names on there. So when they do write their name in their title, just please ensure that you are able to read it. If you cannot even read it, just please write it nicely on the 213 right underneath, so that when we do process it and send it to OES, if they have any questions whatsoever, we can easily refer them to the person that wrote the authority for you, and then they can get in touch with them. If the name is illegible and we can't see what title it is, then it's going to be very difficult for us to fight for the reimbursement with OES if we do get any nudge back on that one. So just make sure that you do get it from one of the 3 personnel that I've listed above here. And that is my whole presentation. Thank you guys so much for listening. I apologize for not being there in person, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I will have my business cards there if anybody needs them, or you can just simply email me or give me a call. I am here Monday through Friday. Thank you.